Hey, it's Nathan Reed from thetickettotravel.com. You're watching this video either because you're a loyal follower, which is awesome, or you're planning a trip to Nepal, which is also awesome. We're going to run through 15 things to know about before coming to Nepal to help you to prepare your trip. There's usually something you can do before you arrive to prepare for all of these things. It will help you to be in the know and to have less culture shock, because Nepal will definitely be different from where you're from, unless you're from Nepal. Here are 15 things that you should know before you come to Nepal and prepare yourself, look like a natural, and to avoid too much of culture shock.
Now these things are in no particular order. We just put this list together for you guys so you can choose what is your most important thing. Number 1, weather. When we were planning on coming to Nepal, we kind of thought that it was really cold, thinking of the mountains. And then when we Googled some of the locations of the country, at that time it was summer, we realized it was really hot. But in fact, Nepal is a very diverse country. Yes, up north in the Himalayas it's very cold. Down south is flat, the flatlands, which leads into India, which can get very hot in the summer. So depending on where you are in the country, make sure that you dress accordingly. Bring lots of warm clothes for the winter, no matter where you are. In the summer, that depends on where you are as well. In the south, it's very hot. Up in the mountains, it will be a bit cooler. So depending on where you are, make sure you have the adequate clothing.
Number 2, squat toilets. This is our squatter pot, and if you're not used to using one of these, or if you're not used to squatting and doing other things and balancing, then maybe every time you write a text message, just squat and text. Right hand, left hand. That might help so you don't have a problem in the toilet.
Number 3, power cuts, also known as power outages, also known as load shedding. Happens every day, no matter where you are. Be prepared for it. We have solar lamps. We use these almost every day during our power cuts. In some areas there is a bit of a schedule, so you can prepare ahead of time. You can charge up your solar lamps, or you can make sure that you have all your devices charged ahead of time. If you're in an area like here where there isn't much of a schedule, you just always have to be prepared. Try and charge everything when you can, when you do have power. When you don't, make sure that you have your lamps on the ready.
People that want to have electricity full time will either have solar panels, as our landlords do, or they'll have a large inverter battery system for charging when there is power and then using the battery inverter when there is no power. We use solar lamps and cook on the fire when there's no power. So the only other thing that we sometimes need when we're working is our router for internet. So we have this little battery. This is a transformer which charges the battery. And then this is our little inverter, which we hook up to the battery and then turn it on. And it sounds awful, but then we can, that's not safe. I just wanted to show it. Then you can plug things into the back of it. Number 4, toilet paper. What paper? No toilet paper. I will elaborate, but I will not demonstrate.
Can you explain that?
So, this is typical. Instead of using toilet paper, this is used. Tap, water, little bucket, scoop with your right hand and clean with your left hand. Need I say more? I don't think so. This is a gun with water in it. Instead of toilet paper, water. You will find toilet paper hard to find in Nepal, and it's more expensive. So if you need to use toilet paper, then bring it with you. And if you want to try it the other way, good on you.
Number 5, cooking on gas. Everybody here uses a little stovetop, usually when there isn't a crisis going on like there is now. Everyone uses a cylinder of gas, which usually lasts up to 4 months. Depends on how much you're cooking. It usually lasts us about 5-ish months, perhaps. And cook everything on there, so when there's no power, for one, you can always cook something. Now, because of the fuel crisis, also known as the gas crisis, also known as the everything else in this country crisis. So here's a gas cylinder. You just turn on this little switcheroo here. This is our gas stove. So all you gotta do is switch her on and use your fancy lighter to light it. But there's no gas right now, so it's just for looks.
Number 6, drinking water out of bottles without touching your mouth. This is a cultural thing because two people should not be putting lips on the same cup. And so generally water bottles are in restaurants, like local restaurants. They're just a pop bottle full of water sitting on the table, and everybody uses that. You can practice and get good at that, and then when you're at some restaurant and they're like, "Oh sir, I shall give you a cup," you'll be like, "No, I don't need one," and then you grab a bottle and you pour it down and you don't spill it on your face, and they'll think you're so cool, or else they'll think you're showing off.
Number 7, men holding hands. This is also common practice in Africa, probably other parts of the world that we're not aware of. But here it's very common. Young men, middle-aged men, old men, all kinds of men holding hands. Show a form of affection, friendship, love, closeness, tight bond. But if you're a man and a woman, it's not really so much acceptable. Girls can also hold hands, friends, but it's more common to see young men holding hands, especially teenagers, which makes it a little more funny, but not appropriate to show open forms of affection, men and women. Public displays of affection is what it's called.
If you were to do that, you would get stared at, but we might add, as a foreigner, you will always be stared at.
You're supposed to keep staring.
Number 8 is the kind of mattresses that are in Nepal. You may be used to spring mattresses. Those are very uncommon here. They use cotton fluffed mattresses instead, which if you're used to something soft, you might find these kind of hard. Mattresses in Nepal are not spring mattresses like yours. They're fluffed cotton. And this is our mattress, and it's not very thick. So if you're used to our really nice soft mattress, when you take a nap, here's an option. Have a nap on the floor or on the cement. Then when you sleep on one of these mattresses, it will be a treat.
Number 9, eating with your hands. The most common everyday, twice a day meal in Nepal is dal bhat, which is rice and lentils. It can be a little awkward at the beginning learning how to eat with your hands when you're eating rice and kind of mushy, soupy rice. But you get used to it. You have to learn how to use your hand, how to maneuver those muscles. It's like learning a language with your fingertips. And try not to get it all over the rest of your hand and arm. Try and keep it clean, and also try to avoid the finger hand licking process. That can be kind of offensive to people which are watching you, because they will be, because you're a foreigner. The other thing to know is only use your right hand, because as we all know, using the left hand for food is disgusting in this culture, this part of the world, in many cultures in fact. Try to avoid that. Try sitting on your hand. Try tying it behind your back. Whatever works for you.
Or cover your eyes with your left hand.
And then you won't see the people staring at you, and you can enjoy your meal.
And then the flavors will be more intense.
Because you're guessing, you don't know what you're eating. It's like a contest.
Number 10, the sockets are different. Recognize one of these? No? Then you might need an adapter for your plug-in. This is for mosquitoes, by the way. The electrical plugins are different, but you can see there's little notches there, so if you have the 2 slotted one, you should be alright. If you're using American devices and it has the grounder as well, then you'll need an adapter like this, or a multi-international adapter. You can plug that in there, then you can use it. This is not a voltage adapter though. So you might be wondering, will my devices blow up if I plug them in? Because I'm from the Western Hemisphere and we use 110. And Nepal is 220 volt. Well, if you're bringing your laptop, phone, tablet, and the chargers for those, they're almost invariably adaptable input. So here I have a charger, and you can just confirm on your charger, but they will almost always say input 100 to 240 volts. So you will have no problem. But if you're bringing your blender or a blow dryer or an iron, then you will have problems. Hair straightener, hair curler to Usually if they're American brand, they'll probably be 110 volt, and if you plug them in here, they will blow. Don't bring them, or else you'll need a voltage adapter, which is more expensive, which is heavier, and more of a hassle. So consider not bringing your blender.
Number 11, time zones. Nepal is about 45 minutes different from almost all time zones. India is about 30 minutes different, and we're 15 minutes different from them, 45 minutes, which can be a little confusing. So we, of course, have apps on our phones that always tell us what time it is in other parts of the world before we Skype our loved ones or try to make a phone call abroad, things like that. It's good to keep in mind.
Number 12, traffic. Traffic goes on the left side of the road, like a lot of places. If you're from the Western Hemisphere, then you'll have to adjust to that. But more importantly is pedestrians go along with traffic. You might feel that it's safer to be walking against traffic so you can see, get out of someone's way, but fact is that's not how it's done here usually. And so if you do it your way, which is out of the ordinary here, it might be a little more dangerous for you.
Another thing to keep in mind is that there isn't really any rules for traffic. Yes, people are supposed to drive and walk and ride and steer things on the left side, but you'll find people on the opposite side going the same direction, opposite direction, middle of the street. You'll be dodging animals and people and children and devices and vehicles and all sorts of things. So be ready for that. Just try not to die, basically, is all the advice we can give you.
The horn is used liberally and is much louder than the horns you might be used to.
Number 13, the Nepali calendar. If you caught that little glimpse of us describing it a little bit in our documentary, good for you. If not, Nepal has their own calendar. It is very different. It is a solar calendar, which at the same time it's based on the lunar months. So if you're going according to the Gregorian calendar, the middle of that month is the beginning of a new Nepali month. Between March and April is the new year for Nepal, and the middle of that month is the first beginning of a new month and a new year. We are now in the year 2072. March/April 2016 will be the beginning of 2073. So we're kind of in the future a little bit. Just remember that. It doesn't really make a difference, but a lot of people don't know the Gregorian calendar. So you can have an app on your phone, which is very helpful, or just carry around one of these big gigantic calendars and you'll be fine.
14, tipping. Tipping is not a typical thing here. There are some touristy restaurants that will have a 10% service charge already in there, but other than that, you're not expected to tip. It's only the touristy places. There's so many tourists there that they set the standard, and people are like, well, all the other tourists give me money, so now I'm expecting money. But anywhere out of those places, it's not the norm, it's not expected. And if you have kids asking you for money or chocolate, that is not cool here, so don't encourage them.
Begging is not an accepted part of the culture. It's actually discouraged a lot, so don't contribute to it.
We would suggest giving them a high five as opposed to a fiver.
Point number 15, which is probably near the top of the list for me, would be the noise. The noise and privacy is going to be something that foreigners are not going to be used to. People don't go into their homes and close all the doors and windows to be loud. They like to be outside. They're outdoors all the time, and they like to yell instead of talk for the most part.
But who doesn't?
So get used to that. That can start very early. In the culture here, people go to bed very early, around 9 o'clock, in most parts of the city, in most parts of the country. Mostly because their day starts very early. People are up at 5 o'clock, start making noise as soon as they get up. The buildings, the homes aren't soundproof here. Even if all the doors and windows are closed, you'll hear noise from downstairs, upstairs, each side. So be prepared for that. Also, people start their religious ceremonies early in the morning, so if they're up at 5, they start shortly after. Here, they start around 6 or just before 6 in our neighborhood, so we're a little more thankful for that. It depends on where you are, it depends on the situation of your neighbors. So The only thing that we can recommend that you can ever really prepare for is to wear earplugs or to just learn how to be more of a deep sleeper.
Or just go to bed at 9 o'clock. Problem solved. We hope you like that and it's going to help you out. Take a second now to open a new window on your browser and go to thetickettotravel.com, our website, and email subscribe, and then you only have to do it once and you'll be able to keep up to date with Inside Scoop and the inner goings on.
Remember to share this video and to like it and leave a comment. Mention anything that maybe you would like to know about, other questions you have about coming to Nepal, or things that were helpful for you if you are coming to Nepal on a trip soon. Or perhaps if you already are in Nepal as a foreigner, what are some things that you have on your list that maybe we didn't mention? Contribute. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep this going. Continue to enjoy these videos from us so we can continue giving them.
This is the way we're staying in the country, so your support makes it possible, and we thank you so much.
Cool. You said you said no particular order?
Yeah, before. Come on.
Sorry, I could hear it, but
That was all on camera.
there's no handle, so
This is real. This is real life right here.
is this real life?
Is this real life? Is this gonna be forever?
Still going.
1, 2, 3. Number? Wow, I think my part was fine. I don't have to do it again. I'm sure gone.
So don't be like that.
I only filmed once.
A bunch of I don't know.
Helping.